languages, and following is the sequence. We will have a short introduction on the importance of prayer by Mr. Shankar Bhatt, followed by a prayer by Mr. Basti Ganesh Shenoy. Then Elham will chant a prayer, followed by Bahashri, and then Sherwin will chant a prayer, followed by Surbi and Lavanya. And the last prayer will be chanted by Mrs. Vasanti Shenoy. So while the prayers are going on, I request all the participants to kindly meditate on the holy words and please concentrate on the prayers. So we will not have a break in between. The sequences, a brief talk by Mr. Shankar Bhatt, followed by prayer by Mr. Basti Ganesh Shenoy. Then Elham will chant a prayer, followed by Bahashri, Sherwin, Surbi and Lavanya, and the final chant will be from Mrs. Vasanti Shenoy. So Mr. Shankar Bhatt, Yogesh, please go ahead.
ನಮ್ಮ ಕಷ್ಟ ಸುಖಗಳನ್ನು ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಆತನಿಂದ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಯಾಚಿಸುವುದು. ಈ ಯಾಚನೆ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಮಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದವರಿಗೂ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ನಮಗೂ ಇತರರಿಗೂ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು ಎಂದಾಯಿತು. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕಂಡರೆ ಈಗ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ದೇವರ ಸಾಂತ್ವನದ ಉಪಶಮನದ ಅಗತ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಈಗಿನ ವೈರಾಣುವಿನಿಂದ ಬಾಧಿತರಾದವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ದುರ್ಬಲರಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಕಾಳಜಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ ವಿಕೋಪ, ಅವಘಡ, ಸಾಮುದಾಯಿಕ ವೈರ ಮತ್ತು ಜನಾಂಗೀಯ ಹಿಂಸೆ ಮುಂತಾದವುಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ತನ್ನ ಅರಿವು ಮತ್ತು ವಿವೇಕದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ದೇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರಿಸುವನು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ತಿಳಿಸಿದಂತೆ ಬಹವುಲ್ಲಾರವರು ಹಲವಾರು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಂತಹ ಪ್ರಕಟಿತ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸಂದರ್ಭಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಪಠಿಸಿದರೆ ದೇವರು ಆತನ ವಿವೇಕಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅನುಗ್ರಹಗಳನ್ನ ನೀಡುವನು. ಆದುದರಿಂದ ದಿನದ ಬೆಳಗೂ ಸಂಜೆಯೂ ದೇವರನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸಿರಿ. ನಿಮಗೂ ಕಷ್ಟಗಳಿಂದ ಬಾಧಿತರಾದವರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ದುರ್ಬಲರಿಗೂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸಿರಿ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮವೇ ನನ್ನ ಗುಣಕಾರಿ, ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ನನ್ನ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆ. ಓ ನನ್ನ ದೇವಾ, ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮವೇ ನನ್ನ ಗುಣಕಾರಿ, ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ನನ್ನ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಮೀಪ್ಯವೇ ನನ್ನ ಭರವಸೆಯು, ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಮೀಪ್ಯವೇ ನನ್ನ ಭರವಸೆಯು. ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯೇ ನನ್ನ ಒಡನಾಡಿಯೇ, ನಿನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯೇ ನನ್ನ ಒಡನಾಡೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಕರುಣೆ ನನ್ನ ರೋಗ ನಿವಾರಕ, ಇಹ ಪರಲೋಕದಿ ಸಹಾಯಕಾರಿ. ಬದ್ಧನು ನೀನೇ, ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞನು ನೀನೇ ದೇವಾ. ದೇವಾ ಸಮೃದ್ಧನು ನೀನೇ, ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞನು ನೀನೇ, ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ಎಲ್ಲವನು ಬಲ್ಲವ ನೀನೇ, ನಿಜಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲವನು ಬಲ್ಲವ ನೀನೇ. ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮವೇ ನನ್ನ ಗುಣಕಾಯ, ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ನನ್ನ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆ. ಓ ನನ್ನ ದೇವಾ, ಓ ನನ್ನ ದೇವಾ.
Ye are the stars of the heaven of understanding, the breeze that stirreth at the break of day, the soft flowing waters upon which must depend the very life of all men. Ye are the first of all men to be recreated by his Spirit, the first to adore and bow the knee before him, the first to circle round his throne of glory. Ye are the stars of the heaven of understanding, the breeze that stirreth at the break of day, the soft flowing waters upon which must depend the very life of all men, the very life of all men.
वरदे 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 हे परमेश्वर वरदे एकता की ज्योति सारी, एकता की ज्योति सारी पृथ्वी पर छा जाए। साम्राज्य प्रभु का है, साम्राज्य प्रभु का है, यह भाव सभी देश प्रदेश और जनमानस के ललाटों पर अंकित हो जाए, अंकित हो जाए। वर दे, वर दे, वर दे, हे परमेश्वर वर दे।
والله خداوندا اولیای مخلصین مبتلای ظلم و ستم ماندینن تو نجات ده و حبای آن جمال مبین چون اغنام مظلوم در چنگال گرگان جهول و ظلوم تو رهایی بر عندلیبان گلشن تقدیر در بین جغدان گلخن مکر و تدلیس نالانند تو به فریاد رس و دلبران پریروی امر نازنین در کید اهریمنان جور و جفایم تو آزاد فرما. اگرچه بلای عطا است ولی قلوب اهل بلا عرق از نسیم صبا. اگرچه ظلم اعدا منادی امر اعظم ابها است، اما تنهای بیتاب و توانه با خسته سهام مترادفه اهل بغضا بنده آستان شوقی.
Oh my God, oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art the helper and the Lord.
तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा स्मरण ही मेरी औषधि है मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा सामीप्य ही मेरी आशा, तेरा प्रेम ही मेरा सहचर हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। मुझ पर तेरी अनुकंपा ही निरोगता इहलोक तथा परलोक दोनों में मेरी आफत सहायक है। तेरा नाम मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। वस्तुतः तू ही है सर्व प्रदाता, सर्वज्ञ एवं सर्वप्रद हे मेरे ईश्वर। हे मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा शरण मेरी औषधि है मेरे ईश्वर। तेरा नाम ही मेरा आरोग्य है मेरे ईश्वर। हे मेरे ईश्वर। हे मेरे ईश्वर। हे मेरे ईश्वर।
Thank you, friends. Father, over to you.
Thank you very much to our friends from Baha'i community of Karnataka for that beautiful and inspiring prayer, praying for peace and harmony, praying for healing in a special way. Thank you so much for this prayer and putting ourselves into this whole mood of prayer before this gathering. Now we move on to the second part of our meeting this evening. We have with us Swami Tattvarupananda. I'm happy to welcome and introduce to you Swami Tattvarupananda. Swami Tattvarupananda is a monk of Ramakrishna order. He had his spiritual initiation from Reverend Swami Vireshwara Nandaji Maharaj, 10th president of the order in the year 1971. He joined the Ramakrishna order at its Chennai Mutt in the year 1973. He had his sannyasa diksha from his guru in the year 1983. After serving 2 years at Chandigarh, he was in Mumbai for 25 years till 2010. Later, he was head of Trivandrum Center from 2011 till he took charge of Ramakrishna Mutt, Halsuru on 1st November 2013. All along his monastic life, he served the organization in the field of education, culture, rural, medical, tribal developments, and relief operations, and so on. Swamiji is a monk of simple habits, a man of few words, and with amiable and lovable nature. He is also a friend of Ashirwad. He has come and participated in our interreligious meetings, and he is with us this evening to inspire us with the message, the need of interreligious harmony in today's context. As we are all aware, today's context is not so happy one where we can rejoice. We have got a lot of hatred, we have got a lot of misunderstanding, we have a lot of suspicion on each other. In this context, Swamiji will enlighten us how we can understand that we are children of one God and how we can build harmony in our society. Swamiji, once again, welcome to you to this gathering, and over to you, to your message. You have 30 minutes for your presentation. After that, we will have some interactions and some questions. Over to you, Swamiji.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarve Sadbuddhi Mapnotu Sarve Mam Dugdha Bhavavit. Om Dujjana Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjano Shanti Mapnuyat Shanto Muscheta Bandebhyo Muktaschanyan Vimochayet. So, we are today assembled here to share our views on how we can live together, and also in the global village, how we can perform well. At the same time, we have a good interpersonal relationship. That is very much important nowadays. For that, our own religion will help us to go ahead with that. So we know all the religions always they want that the follower must have a happy life, and also he must have a congenial and also cooperative life. So that is very, very important. So in that, how our own religion, because the actually the idea is that all religions are true, and every religion has got its own importance, and in its own place it is very, very excellent. So this idea we must always keep in, and we must try to respect the all religions. And you think that the religion is it is equal to your own religion. That's why the Christ says that simple word that love thy neighbor as thyself. That when you want to love each other, you must love yourself first. Then you love the neighbor. So that is very, very important. This teachings is based in all the religions, but we forget and we just think that our own religion is supreme and other religions are not true. So that is a very wrong thought we have. So we must always say that all religions are true and every religion is high. It has given exalted personalities, and we can follow any of the paths or any of the religious leaders who have given us these high noble ideas. So if you think about your own, if you are very sincere in your own religion, and if you are sincere and having a very consistent and powerful practice in your own religion, so you will certainly grow and you will be able to engulf the whole universe as your own. So that comes in your own way of practicing your own religion. If you are not able to practice your own religion sincerely, and if you are not having the earnestness, then what happens? We become very narrow, and we start putting the shortcome of the other person. That's why we must try to practice this idea that the religion which I am practicing, it certainly enlightened me. At the same time, it will be certainly help me to engulf the whole universe as one, and also the brotherhood will develop by this. So that's why this is a very, very important, because we have been taught by our own religious leaders, and whichever religion you follow, they give us the certain methods to follow it. And if you sincerely and with all wholeheartedly practice your own ideas, and you will certainly excel, and you will be able to accept the other religions, and you will be able to coordinate with them. So that's why it's not merely accepting, you must understand. So understanding that the other religions are also equally true, and whatever they are given is also equally true, and they've got the certain methods of practice. So maybe vary from each other. But that is not the point that we must depend upon that. We must always go beyond that. That's why the Swami Vivekananda used to tell you, go back to your Upanishad, go back to your Bible, go back to your Quran, and like is their own religious scripture. You try to study those your own scripture, and you will get the enlightenment. And when you get the enlightenment, it is always uniting. It always gives us the happiness, and also it gives us the living spirit among ourselves. So this idea will come from our own scriptures, from our own religion. So that we forget, and we think that this is itself is great, and our own religion is great, and we must only propagate this our own religion like that. We have got these ideas. These ideas must reduce, and we try to go deep into our own practices. We have got varieties of practices in various ways we are doing, but that is not come under the on the way to accept or to understand the other religions. So this is the very, very important occasion. We must again and again recall these points, and again and again try to be ourselves good, be ourselves completely contented with the existing atmosphere. So nowadays, especially the what we are facing, the threat of this virus. So it has come up, but it has appeared as because of our own misdoings, our own misunderstanding. Because of that, this this sort of viruses spreading. And in one way, it has made us to try to reflect, or you would go deep into your own self. It has helped us to think of our own true nature. Also, you must know what the benefits of contemplating our own self. So that's how this has made us the one idea that it is given us the opportunity. Because we are always running about and always seeking the enjoyment, and hating, and also having the creating trouble to others. This has been going on. This virus has suddenly arrested. It has made us to go deep into your own self and find out the real happiness which is within us. When you are able to grow and become strong in that your own happiness, then you will be able to spread that. And this should be a spreading force where it will make us happy, healthy, also united. So this idea always keep in mind, and these religions always give us this idea. But only we never take it and we not practice it. We just become a lukewarm practitioner. Then it makes us the trouble. So you must become very strong in your own hold. Then you understand and you then accept and also cooperate with the other fellow beings. So that's why that great saying that what we said, love thyself as love thy neighbor as thyself. This is a beautiful teaching what we get from the Christ. So it is just a basic sense is given by all our religions. But you take up your own practices, your own religion, and you will be able to have that. So in the world, what happens nowadays, even though the scientific technologies and the scientists given us the idea of global village, and we belong to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That idea is given by the science and technology, but that we misuse for our own selfish motive. So this idea of selfishness is becoming more and more. Because of this only we are having all this problem. So you try to be unselfish. Don't think of your own self or your own happiness or your own growth in all fields, but you also feel for the others, feel for the good of many, feel for your own downtrodden, your own people who are suffering. When you feel for them, then you will have the eternal bliss within you. So that bliss will make us to go around, and also you'll be in the good society. So these are some of the ideas I wanted to share. I'm very much happy that Ashirwad is very often arranges such meetings. We have been sharing our ideas throughout the year, many past 2 years. That's why I'm very happy to give me this opportunity to just be with you and share my views. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji, for this message. You have been giving us the message loud and clear that to love neighbor as yourself, therefore treat the other as your equal, and also to promote universal brotherhood and sisterhood. That is what every religion teaches us. But unfortunately, that our lukewarm practice of religion makes us self-centered, and therefore we are not in a position to look beyond our own religion and look beyond our own self. Therefore, you are asking each one of us to look beyond our own religion and thus promote that universal brotherhood and sisterhood. To do that, we need to go deep into our own scriptures, our own religions. It is all there, and I think it is either that we do not understand it enough, or perhaps we do not practice as it should. I think thank you for that message. And now it is open to the group. If you have got any question, any clarification, or anything to add, any comments, Especially, let us look at this whole need for interreligious harmony in today's context, in the social context that we are in the political context that we are in. This is inviting us to think deeper how we can be the instruments to bring harmony in our society, bring peace in our society, bring that brotherhood and sisterhood that we desire, that we dream in our spirituality, and especially in our religious practice. Now I keep it open. Anybody can ask either Swamiji the question or your own experience, religious experience, how we can promote this interreligious harmony in our context. Yes, Professor Bhatia, go ahead.
Yeah, I think nobody's asking. People will ask question a bit late, maybe. My association with interreligious harmony movement is quite long from the Father Ronnie Prabhu. And one word which always came in my ears, he used to say that you cannot be religious until you are. So we have to understand our religion, our faith, ourselves very well. And simultaneously, we should have a good understanding of one area which is wide. Second, being little having the domain in the professional life as a scientist and engineer, and also devoted this side, I always feel there is a need for us to really work. How do we coherently integrate the core teachings of everything, and then bring on the surface for the wider so-called education to schools and colleges and the school teachers and the teachers, so that this message of core competence of each religions, the core values of each religions can be imparted, so that automatically these differences removed. Because giving sermons to people who are not really understanding or not want to understand or want to really use deliberately for the wrong purposes, it's not possible for us to. As far the harmony is concerned, it is in nature's gift. If we look at the all around us in the whole creation of this supreme God, the Lord, who is a creator and abides in his own creation, in all of us as a uniformity without any distinction. You see the forest, how many animals are there? They are all in harmony. Lion, all the most powerful, does not come out of lion until he is hungry. There is a harmony there. In the sky, there is this one. In the sea, harmony there. They don't. They behave the way they are supposed to behave. Only the human being don't behave in the way they are supposed to be. And this education is very important in this aspect, and especially the religious people and people who really honor the faith or honor the spirituality, they should come forward and try to impart this knowledge to our young lot from the school levels and other things. Probably that can really bring this one, and don't we have to, because it's a nature's gift. Our effort should be to see that we don't disturb or we don't allow others to disturb it, rather than we work for getting the harmony.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Dr. Devdas Singha is raising his hand. Yeah, kindly go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Actually, I'm speaking from Tripura. I believe that religious truth is absolute from God to man through the divine channel, and it is a progressive. And people should not only think that we are one, they have to come out from their bondage and shelter and work for the universal brotherhood and peace. Unless and until we do that, that peace and prosperity is unattainable. So dear friends, enough we have said in the world of today that we are one, 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 one. The time has come. We have to, because there is not many religions. It is the one religion of God. But there are many religions which is created by man, that is by their own imaginations. And every truth of that manifestation of God is brought to enlighten the man and progress from one stage to the another stage of development. When we understand that truth, and when we come together and thinking that this whole world is one family, we are the members of that family, then only really something can happen. Now, you look at the world today, is so terrible conditions, the very critical time, but the workers are very few for uniting these things. The time has come. We really have to think about our soul, not about the body which will go one day. But the soul is immortal and it will progress one after another world, and that we have to look after. So again, I believe that material and spiritual, it should be balanced on this earth. With this note, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to talk. Over.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Prakash, go ahead. Be a little louder.
Are you able to hear me, Father, now?
Yeah, tell.
Okay. So I just want to add to what the previous speakers have said. See, harmony is a very simple thing, just like an ABCD. Only thing is, you have to have concern for others. Then once you have concern for others, automatically things go smooth. And when it comes to the religion, compare the ideals of other religions before you just think that your religion is most supreme. Next is, put your ear first before your mouth. Only when you give an ear, you will learn what is there. But many people, before giving an ear, they put their mouth. They say that they know everything and they want to have their own word. Please avoid those things.
Thank you.
So with this thing, our harmony becomes just like a ABCD, which even a kid can understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash. Jayaraju, hand is up. Kindly go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you so much. I don't know what is going on here because audio is very poor. Just now I put in an earphone. Just our Dada told just now. Then I understood what is this one. Just I would like to say something. The religion is only one. Why? Because the essence of religion is only one. Why? Because God is one. That means in every age, God sends his messengers from time to time. For example, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, abhyuthanam dharmasya tadhatmana srujamyaham, paritranaya sadhunam vinayasaya duskrutam, paritranaya sadhunam vinayasaya duskrutam, dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. For example, he will come as a Kalki avatar, Dasam avatar. For example, in Buddha says, I will come as a fifth Buddha. Then Jesus Christ mentioned, I will come as a second return of Jesus Christ, as a second coming, return of Jesus Christ. Then Maitreya Buddha, fifth Buddha, my Maitreya avatar. Like that in every religion, it is mentioned coming the promised one once again. Baha'u'llah says at present the Baha'u'llah is the promised one of all the past religions. Baha'u'llah says, I am the promised one from all the religions, past religions. So here, sun is only one. He rises in different points, 365 points, but sun is only one. The days are many, but the year is one. Then I want to.
I will be in touch with you.
1 second, please. Just I will conclude just one. Here, regarding the, for example, Abraham, Krishna, Moses, Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Bob, and Baha'u'llah. These are the manifestations of God. They are coming from the same one source, God. God is like a sun. The rays are there. The rays of the sun are the manifestations of God. So at present, Baha'u'llah says, for example, we are Baha'is. That means those who are following Baha'u'llah, you are called Baha'is. All Baha'is must love and respect all the religions, because all religions come from only one source, from only one God, the universal supreme power. So only one God. So there is no difference in at all. For example, mankind is only one. Baha'u'llah teaches mankind is one, oneness of mankind, oneness of religion, oneness of God. So regarding the peace, universal peace, for example, the League of Nations appointed for abolishing the wars of the world wars. So they failed. Then United Nations organizations were created to stop the wars. They also failed. In 1985, the Universal House of Justice, our world center, world headquarters of the Baha'i Faith, issued a peace message. It was distributed among all the people, including all the dignitaries. So peace is inevitable. It may come tomorrow, day after tomorrow, whatever may be, it will definitely come. Peace is inevitable. Then here I will conclude that one. God is only one. The essence of religions are only one. No difference, no caste, no creed, no language barriers, whatever it may be. The earth is, Baha'u'llah says, the earth is but one country. Mankind is citizens. So we are all the children of God. We are all belong to the only one earth. That means one planet. So we are all one. There is no difference at all. But the present Baha'u'llah is the supreme manifestation of God for this age. So,
Mr. Jay,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for giving me the chance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to come in? I just have a question to Swamiji, who presented this topic. Now, who will address the whole problem of this fundamentalism of religion that is coming in? It is difficult for the people, those who are inside, it is very difficult. And also outsider it is even more difficult for the person to say this is not okay. We have become too sentimental. We have become too sensitive when it comes to critique our own religion. What approach do we take in such a context in our country, in our society? Swamiji, you have to unmute. I muted you that time.
I think we may have to give him on mobile to, he may not be listening, no?
No, he is listening. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, it is all right. You are able to audible.
Yeah.
Yes, you are audible, Swamiji.
See, if you read the life and teachings of Saint Francis of Assisi, it is a exemplary life where he has given the ideals for all the human beings, and all the religious great saints have told the same thing. That is, he insists on reflecting our own self. You more and more dive deep into your own religious practices, because we are not practicing what now just the father was telling. So we are not practicing to the level or the mark up to which we have to practice. There's only thing. There's nothing wrong with us. Nothing is harming us unless we go deep into our own religion, take up the practice very sincerely, wholeheartedly. Then by that you will be enlightened, and you will be able to see your own the teacher or the prophet or the saint or your own god or goddess, whatever you say. So you will be able to see the whole universe is in your own, is your own teacher or your own god or your own saint. You will be able to see the whole universe in your own personality. Yeah, that is whom you adore. So that level we must come up, raise up to that level. That will how it will come. It will come only by sincerely practicing your own, because we have been given. Every religion has given every method in a proper way, and you take up that very sincerely, wholeheartedly, with all earnestness. So this is only lacking. Nothing is wrong with us. Nothing will be able to harm us unless we take up this practice. So this whatever you call fundamentalism, whatever it may be, the fundamental thing is our own true nature, and we must be able to contemplate on the true nature. And if you're able to succeed in that, you will be able to see your own prophet or saint or son of God, whatever. You'll be able to see in him the whole universe is engulfed in him, and the whole universe he has become. The God and goddess, whatever, your own the Ishta Devata, we call in Sanskrit Ishta Devata. Your Ishta Devata, which you adore most, your own, that you will be able to see in him, in her, in him or in her, the whole universe, and how they are living very happily. So if you are able to engulf the whole universe, then you will have no other differentiation, and no other problem, no other hating or looking short of other person. So you will become one. So that we must always stress this point, and you take up your own religious practice very seriously, very sincerely, wholeheartedly, and your mind must be always filled with that idea. With that idea, if you are able to grow, then you will see the whole, everywhere you will be able to see your own Ishtadevata, and you will see the other gods also in the same, in your own Ishtadevata. And the person who sees the other gods and gods in his own, in his own personality, then he will be able to understand, and will be able to accept, he will be able to revere all the religions. So all religions, but what they were telling, that is correct. The essence is only one, because God is only one. That is very good statement. That God is only one, essence of all religions is only one. So that essence is, you must think that the whole universe is covered. It has covered whole universe, and we're all in that state of the, or in our Ishtadevata, and we are living together. That idea must come to us. So can I develop this idea? Nothing has to be further thought of.
Thank you, Swamiji. We have got a one hand up. Nazanin is there. Kindly go ahead, Nazanin.
I just want to ask one question. Which sect do the children follow? Suppose I'm a Hindu and I believe in Balaji, and my husband believes in Shiva. So in who does my child follow? There are so many sects in religion, in Christianity, in Hinduism, in Islam. So where do our children go? To which sect? How do they choose a sect?
This is the most practical question. Swamiji, you want to answer this?
See, for example, in the kindergarten, if you are able to just visualize the kindergarten, so many children will be attending the class. The teacher, what the teacher does is he will present varieties of activities around. The child will take up which it likes most. So if you're able to, if your husband is liking Shiva most, he must live like a Shiva, and he must present his own whole personality just like a Shiva, and just to place him in front of the child. Allow the child to take up. That's why the Bertrand Russell says, we are not allowing this child to experience the divinity which is within us or the divinity which is around. We not allow this child at all. We try to impose our own ideas on the child. That is that's the important result says that you allow the child, let it move, let it walk, let it experience its own reality. Then it, allow it to take up. Don't you put a barrier on the child's development. If the child has got a high potential, has got all the powers to manifest the whole universe and the divinity, what you call divinity. It has got all the potential. It can easily protect. So either Shiva or Christ or Muhammad or Buddha or Rama, Krishna, or whoever may be. So they always the symbol of the divinity. You must always think that they're not simply.
I'm sorry, Swamiji, that does not answer my question. The children are confused. There are too many things to follow. We believe that there is God sends manifestations of God progressively. Okay, you spoke of class 1. For example, class 1 teacher was Sri Krishna. Class 2 was Buddha. Class 3 was Zoroaster. Class 4 was Moses. Class 5 was Christ. Class 6 was Muhammad. So don't you believe in progress? Can the first standard teacher can teach class 6 teacher, but will the child understand? People were not mature at that time to understand the class 6 teachings. You cannot teach a class 1 child algebra, but that teacher in class 1 knows algebra. The child cannot understand. The child is not mature enough. So continually there is progressive revelation, we call it. From time to time, God sends the same manifestation in a different place at a different time and a different nationality. It doesn't matter that God's people have to be from the same country. You cannot expect God to send Sri Krishna again after another 500 years. No. The names of the prophets will change. They are all the same source. They all have the same power. But they teach, we are mature to learn something more.
See,
society changes. We are mature to understand more. So he has to send new teachers to us. We can't go on with the old teachers. The religion disintegrates. It becomes into sects. Who makes the sects? Sri Krishna did not make the sects. We made the sects. It is all man-made. So this is what happens to religion when it is old. So it is time to send a new prophet. And we have to believe in the class 2 teacher. We have to believe in the class 3 teacher. You cannot say that they are wrong. They are right.
Yeah, somebody is suggesting wait for 18 years of age, let the child decide. That is another option. Okay, Swamiji, go ahead. Answer.
So that is what you tell is correct. When you tell about the different leaders or the different religion in a classroom. So my point was that you must allow them to think. You must allow them to reflect, and you must always tell that this prophet, Jesus or whoever, this is he has got qualities all this, and this.
Yes, Swamiji, we do that. The children have got the liberty to follow any religion they want. They have to study it first.
For example, nowadays in the society, we see in the home, for the children, they don't believe or they don't accept their own parents' views. So their parents want them to be something, in a certain science, but they go to different things. And even the science, even in the family, we see brother is having different habits. And for that, a simple example I'll give. The mother cooks a particular vegetable. So a certain child has got a stomach problem. So a particular child, she prepares a simple boiled and simple spices. And the other child wants a little bit spicy. So other child, they want still more different variety of. So she prepares the food which is suitable to each child. And she feeds the same vegetable, but it will be in different shape and different idea, different ingredients. Like that, this all the religions, all the great prophets, you tell them. and whichever it accepts, you must allow them to accept that. And you don't insist or don't force them that you must follow this only. So you must only give them the exemplary ideas and allow them to, because this is scientific case. They must be able to think, analyze, and experiment. Then only they will accept. So that is scientific inquiry must be put into a child. So these are the things, facts. You put for them the facts. Let them take. So in some of the houses we see, the father is a Christian, mother is a Hindu. We have seen, where we are seeing also, and the child follows the ISKCON. So what you will do is that you must accept that. See, ultimately they all leave the same goal. That when you are forget this idea, then only you will have to get confused. It's no question of confused. You just only allow them to interact and just think about, and also they must analyze. Allow them to analyze. Let them find, and ultimately all will go to the same goal. All will reach the same place they will reach. So that understand we must have. It's not that idea that the children are confused and they are not, they will be nowhere. Not like that. They've got their own potential. They've got their own capacity to express the divinity. This we must always understand. We forget that, then we think that they are confused.
Thank you. Prakash, you have got a question? Prakash, your hand is up. Is it by mistake or you have got a question?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father. Not question, a clarity here. Your reasoning for your question as well as Madam Nazneen's question. So first I will address Mr. Nazneen's question. So she was saying, a class 1 teacher teaches one region, class 2 teachers teaches other one. How will the child go on? Yes. Say a single subject. Let us take an example of mathematics. In class 1, they just teach numerals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what they teach. When once they come to second standard, they will teach addition. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that doesn't mean the numerals are different and this is different. And as they keep going on upper classes, that same mathematics goes into so many things of algebra, every statistics and everything. So like that, the child cannot be taught everything at one class. So when once the child learns everything, when once the child attains the stage of understanding everything, then the child itself will decide what to follow and what not to follow. So this is what my explanation for Madam Nazneen's question. And now coming to your question, Father, you have put the question to Swamiji and Swamiji has explained this one. So I want to add to the Swamiji's explanation. So you asked who can rectify either the existing leader or that is inside or outside or new person. So here, what I feel is the human nature has grown to that extent, no leader can change them unless and until they change themselves. So conversion is most important at this stage because we have got only two sections on human. So that is, one is human, the other is inhuman. So if people of inhuman nature convert themselves to human nature, automatically everything is solved. Then they will realize what goes with them till the end. So when once they realize what goes with them till the end, everything is put in place. So they will have concern for others, they will have love and affection towards others, and the society can see a beautiful, loving society. So this is my explanation for your question, Father. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other new face? Any new question? Yeah.
Yes, my dear. Sorry, I forgot to mention one more thing. My dear host, I forgot to mention one thing.
Only 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Then our sister Nazneen told just now exactly correct. Why? Because religion is progressive revelation. So I mentioned already the entire university, for example, college, principal is only one. Teachers are different. Subjects are different. For example, this Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, Tripitaka, Bible, whatever may be, all the religion books are religious books are the chapters, that means subjects. teachers are manifestations of God. Principle is only one. The entire universe is the principle. God is only one. The messengers of God are teachers. Present teacher, you have to follow the present teacher. For example, 10th class pass होने के बाद, then intermediate, you have to follow the intermediate lecturer. Like that, at present, sorry, you have to follow the present manifestation of God. One more thing, Sanatan Dharma. For example, religion like a tree. Tree has a root and a fruit. Root, there is a connection between the fruit and the root and the fruit. Fruit is a Sanatan Dharma. Fruit is a Baha'i faith at present. The fruit goes unto the earth again. Again, plant will come. It grows again. That means religion grows in different ages. Then fruit comes.
No, you have not.
The fruit will go there again.
You have not.
That means, there is a root and the fruit. One not saying that means entire tree.
You have not heard her question properly.
Yes.
All the
We
chapters.
can accept all the parts. What is the question, please?
No. She says all the chapters are outdated. You are not answering that question. We need totally the new chapter. So that is the issue. You are not answering that question. Anyway, thank you for your thoughts. Professor, go ahead.
Yeah, if we have time. Otherwise not.
Briefly.
See, what I wanted to say is, the Swamiji very well brought out that one has to go as deep as possible within himself, herself, or in his faith. And when he comes out, he will come out with definitely with harmony already existing or harmonical. That is one point very much taken. But the question comes over here, as sister also asked the question, that which religion finally I should follow. Yes, there has to be independence of the faith. But how do we cultivate this? Activity is that is the main thing is that. So what is necessary is when we accept as inter-religious person that God is one and the religion is only the humanity, and this has to be, and they have the freedom to choose that, and that freedom has to be given. How it has to be given is, first as a parents, what happens normally is, I may have this open-handed first, but I have a fear of the society. If I am sick, I feel that my children should be sick. Because I am worried that if I give them that independence, if somebody is on, my other colleagues will say that your son is not following that. So that fear has to go. So that first is our own acceptance, and then go ahead with that. So there are many ways of doing this one. We can deliberate on some other time. But what is there is that we have to really get committed to this cause that we should bring this change. And IRA Swami is really a good friend. As sister was saying something new, no, we have to have a so-called a coherent integration of the total values, and that values, what way we propagate through the parents, through the teachers, through the children and other things, and make them to realize this, and they are fully independent to choose what they want.
Professor Bhatia,
yes.
Karthik has asked a question, very interesting question.
Yeah.
Or what way interfaith religious movement have a positive impact on citizens of Bangalore?
Yes.
Asking a very practical question. Are we in four walls? We were praying earlier in Ashirwad.
Yeah.
We are doing it online. Can
I answer that?
Does it have a very practical
very
impact on the citizens of Bangalore? This is the question. Yes.
Yes. In fact, I am also on coming that even in the time of Father Ronnie from Madrasa, we have been always saying that whatever number of people we collect here, we have no differences, irrespective of what religion, caste, creed, age we are coming from. Only thing is we have to come out and work also. And one by the program we designed for the, let us say, school teachers. Then we have the university level at the intermediate, and this one we used to go to different schools and have give this understanding of religions, and we have the core people coming from the different religions with one mind at the back, that we are not going to just give it a so-called procedures and the customs and other things of our religion, take the core values and bring out that, and also try to how this is no bit different than others. He used to say also the roses are not grown only in our garden, it is also everywhere else. We have to open our window and everything. With that type of people coming as a core, this one, probably in this one we can move out and then this one. Another question which really touched my heart also is when people talk about fundamentalists. Many times I feel Actually, we should teach people that they should really follow the fundamentals of their religion. If they're really following the fundamentals of their religions, this fundamentalism, which is taken as a bad name, will be actually coming as a rescue for combating the devil effect of fundamentalism.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will give the last word to Swamiji, 30 seconds, and give a last message.
What you tell?
Last word, Swamiji.
See that I will give one simple madam's what she was telling. I will give a life example of Swami Vivekananda. When he was a small, when he was a boy, he was going to college, school and college. When he was in school days, his father wanted him to become a barrister, a good advocate, because he himself was a famous advocate. He wanted his son, Swami Vivekananda, to be a barrister. And he tells him, he asks him questions, what do you want to become? He tells, I want to become a good horse rider, he tells. Then he becomes, what this you are, I wanted that, I expected you will be a good barrister. And you want to become just a horse rider or the garage driver. What is this nonsense, he told. That Narendra started, Swami Vivekananda started weeping. Mother, why you are weeping? Mother asked. See, father told me that this one, what do you want to become? But I told him I want to become a driver of horse carriage. Then he scolded me. Then my mother, come along with me. We went to the Vishwanath Datta's father's room. He was sitting on the wall. There photo of Sri Krishna and Arjuna on the chariot. You know this famous picture. Sri Krishna is riding the chariot, and Arjuna is sitting in the carriage. So he told he showed the mother showed who is riding the carriage, horse carriage, and she told Krishna. The Krishna, Narendra says, Krishna is ready. You tell your father that I want to become just like a Krishna. That is Jagat Guru. Then father was very much pleased by that verdict what mother finally gave. So like that, you child must be allowed to decide its own status of life and his own way of thinking. Let him grow, because all the religions, when you speak of all the gods and goddesses, all the religions, when they're always leading to the same goal, why should you hamper that child to stop there or create a confusion by imposing our own ideas? That idea I want to tell.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, and thank you very much for this very enlivening interaction that we have had this evening. Let us pause for a moment and conclude this meeting and gathering with a small prayer for religious harmony.
Father wanted to thank you and the members of the Interreligious Harmony Movement for giving an opportunity to the Baha'i community to chant prayers today, and we really appreciate the service that each one of you are doing to bring harmony. Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Let us pause and pray. Good and gracious God, who loves and delights in all people, we stand in awe before you, knowing that the spark of life within each person is the spark of your divine life. Differences among cultures and races are multicolored manifestations of your light. May our hearts and minds be open to celebrate similarities and differences among our sisters and brothers. Please send your healing and reconciling spirit in order to bind the wounds created by racism, casteism, and to promote understanding, justice, and love. We place our hopes for religious harmony in our committed action, in your living presence, in our neighbor. Thank you. I would like to thank Swami Tattvarupananda for coming and addressing us, sharing your wisdom, spending your time with us and inspiring all of us. Swamiji, keep coming to our meeting and inspire us. And we are appreciative of your work, your involvement, and your life itself is a message to the society. So once again, on behalf of IRHM team Ashirwad, I thank you very much. I also thank the Baha'i community of Karnataka. They have participated in good number today, and also they have conducted the prayer this evening, which was very nice, very inspiring. Thank you, Mr. Dinesh Rao and the team for taking effort to coordinate and also actively taking part in this meeting. I expect that you would take part in all our meetings. We have second Sunday and fourth Sunday of every month we have at 4:30. Just now it is online. Otherwise, we have it physical meeting in Ashirwad. Therefore, warm welcome to you. And there are many new members today I can see in our meeting. Thank you for joining. My only request is communicate this message to your friends as well. Encourage many of your friends, your colleagues to join and spread this culture of love, culture of harmony in our society. And that is our responsibility today in this society where there is a lot of hatred, there is a lot of suspicion. It is a responsibility of each one of us to build this healthy society. It is not to compare whose religion is great, and that is not the purpose. It is to learn the depths of every religion. It is to see the liberative elements in every religion, and thus to promote harmony and make our living more peaceful and more meaningful. I once again thank each and everyone for joining this meeting. We'll look forward to your meeting in our future meetings as well. God bless us all. Thank you. Thank you.